So, my desktop, and the topic for today is Parts Master. My name is Edith Redman, and I am working for Infor, specifically in the modules for sales and for purchasing. I'm an application consultant, and we will be doing these trainings as you got information from Brian in the next 3 weeks. Yes. So today we are beginning with Parts Master. First, what you can see here is we have first in the Parts Master we have first always a header where we can see the description, and we can see also the part type, the drawing number, modification level, the status, the ISO number, match code, measurement unit quantity, and the release. Yes, we will see what each one of these means when we go to the fields. Yes, this is the header, which, as you can see, where you have white letters, you cannot change anything. So even though I write here something, I try to write something, it's not possible because these headers are not editable. Yes. So now we go to the material group, and here we have, for example, that you have a material group 120. The material group is a sort criteria in electronic mailboxes, or is also used for statistics. Yes. We can see here that you have, for example, with a question mark, you can display the code table which is behind this field, and then you can see the different options that you have for your Parts Master for material group. Yes, you can see here we have different material groups that are used for statistics or for sorting part numbers in different mailboxes. Yes. Hold a second, I will copy the part number. So in this case, we have 120. We also have, for example, the product group. The product group is also used for statistics and contains primarily production produced internally products. Yes. As you can see in this case, you have also a code table behind where you can select the different product groups that you have for your part numbers. So going back again, I didn't pay attention. So then the product category. Yes, in product category we have different values that we have behind this field, and they are contained in the code table. Product category. By the way, on the top right of the code table, you can see the name of the code table. Yes. So in case you are authorized to set up master data for this code table, then you could see here what is the name of the code table, and then you can go to code tables and maybe add another value which you might be needing. So now I am going back. Web category. We have yes, it's also in part family which is the 4A, and here you can then select which is the part family which this is belonging to, and this is also a kind of a sorting criteria for the part numbers. So I am always going back because I don't remember what was the value, and I don't want to change anything as we are in the real environment. Yes. So after that, we have here this classification code, which I don't know if you use it because as I see you don't have any information. Always, as I can see, you don't have any information here in this code, in this field classification. And also this classification is okay for the online retrieval system. Yes, this is a functionality that we have in order to look for part numbers. Yes. So as I see, you have no values here. What I just displayed is also a functionality that you also have available in your system, which is if you type the keyboard, the Alt and the function key F1, you can display a kind of a help, yes, which is telling you information about the field you are in, yes. So today we are going to go through all these fields, and I will mention to you what they are for, but in case you don't remember something or you want to check it again, you can always go with your cursor to the field where you want to have an explanation, and then with Alt F1, you can get this help as an information, okay? So tell me if I am too fast or if you don't understand something, just let me know, okay? So after the classification code, we have the match code, yes? This match code is also used as a criteria for looking for parts in our system, yes? So as I can see here, you have SS. When you create a new part number and you don't put any information in the match code field, the system will take automatically the first letters or numbers of your part description, yes? If you don't put anything, if you put something, then the system will take this information, yes? This is like that we have this match code because when you are looking for a part number, for example, I am looking for this part number, then I can type in the match code only SS, enter, and I get displayed all the part numbers which are created in the system with match code SS. Yeah, it could be SS, or I don't know what the criteria is for you to put this match code, but it could also be by customer, for example, Volkswagen or BMW or whatever you have as customers, or what you would like to have here in order to part. The next field that we have is the yes.
If you assign the match code, if you don't assign it, then it's created automatically by the system.
Yes, exactly. It will take the first fields of your description if you don't put anything at all. Yes. Mistaken. If you don't put anything, yes, but you can also type it in when you create the part number, and then he will take what you type in. Okay. The field would be the part type, yes, and in this case we have a part type number 1. Remember, always with a question mark you can display the information in the code table if there is a code table behind this field, yes. And here we can see the different part types that we have in the system. For example, the number 1 is an in-house production part. That means this is a part number which we are producing in our plant. The number 2 would refer to purchase parts. Normally for purchasing, for example, the part numbers that are created in the system are part type 2 or part type 3 or 4 in, yes? So 2 is for purchase parts and 3 for raw materials. What is the difference? Purchase parts is maybe you need some screws, some nuts, some kind of other purchasing parts, or raw materials like aluminum, like plastic, and so on, yes? The consumables. Part type 4 are consumables. Part type 4 have the characteristic that they are not creating on the stock on hand. Yes, that's why I don't know if you use, for example, this kind of a part type like this in order to create indirect orders in purchasing. I will not go into detail today. The topic is only Parts Master. But so that you keep it in mind when we go to some trainings in purchasing. Yes, but consumable is a part type which is not creating stocks in the system. Then we have also tools, machines, and subcontracted parts. What is it referring to subcontracted parts? This is managing a function in the system where we can working with subcontracted parts. This means this is a process that we can work with in the system when we have, for example, a supplier who is doing something, any change to our part number, but this part number he is getting from us. Yes, that is, I am buying a part number with a supplier, and then when it comes to me, it goes out again to another sub-supplier in order to be painted or to be whatever. Yes, it's something. When it comes back, then when it goes out, then the system will register that this part left to the warehouse of this supplier, so that I have a control of the parts that I'm sending to the supplier. And when these parts are coming back, then I book them into my system with a goods receipt, and then the materials would be discounted from the warehouse. Yes, this is a process that we can work in the system with subcontracted part. Okay, so that's what it means part type 9. So I'll go back now. Here we have a part type 1. Then we have these fields here, like for example, material. You have got material. Here you can type in a material that you use for this part number, yes? And this material could be printed in the description 1 or description 2 of your part number. As I see, you don't use it. Then we also have this made in, which is, I think this field, it was changed by you in your system, and I'm not sure if you use it. It's also, you can say it now, yes, because the correct description of this field is, if you can see the material strand. Yes, what you can put here is, this is provided for storing information on the material strand. What material, the material that you type in here. But I don't know if you are using it maybe in another way, that you put here made in Mexico or made in USA, and then it's printing like that. Yes, if someone knows, you can let us know. Otherwise, sorry?
We're not using it because we didn't know what it was for. I guess we can put made in Mexico. We don't use it.
Yes, you don't use it. Okay. So, but no, now you know. For example, material, you can put a material that you use for this part number, yes, and it would be printed as a description 1 or 2, and then in the made in, you can put the strength of the material, which is just information. Yes, it's not going to be printed. And I think we have also the material quality, which I think might be similar, that you don't use it. This field is provided for some additional information on the material. Yes, only additional information. It's not printing anything at all. Okay, so that's what these 3 fields are for. Additional information about materials. The only one which might be printed would be the material field. Okay. Then the drawing format. Yes, here you can put the drawing format, where you say no drawing, or NCA, B, C, or D, which is a classification that was put in the code table by you. I don't know if you use it, if this is telling you something or not. But in general, this is an information field about the drawing format. Yes, if you have different drawing formats that are not listed in this code table, you can go to the code tables. In this case, it's code table number 18, and then you could add the values that are missing for you, which you could use. Yes. So after that, we have the drawing number. Yes, if you have a drawing number, you can put it in this field also as information, and as you can see, you get it also here in the header. So continue with enter. Well, the measurement unit, as you can see here, we can see is that per 1, per 10, per 100, and so on. Then gross weight and the net weight, yes? The weight of the part. Okay, it can put here the gross weight or the net weight. You can put both. The status active or passive, this is when a part number is being used in the system. It must be active. If it's passive, then you cannot use it at all for it. For example, part numbers which are getting a new engineering status or something like that, that you can put it to passive, because you cannot erase part numbers in the system. As you create a part number for the first time and you have to erase it right away, you can erase it. But if you part number and you do something, any movement, any contract, whatever, then you cannot erase it anymore, because it remains in the system with the corresponding history. Yes. So then we have the planning status. In the planning status, you have different. Sorry. Planning status is the release code. Yes, you can. It's a new created part number, or it is a blocked part number. Yes, and in this case, a blocked part number, for example, would not be taken into account for MRP calculation. Yes, or you can also say it's a discontinued part, which is going to block part in our system, and it will not be taken into account anymore. Delete the master new part, released, or pilot sir. But this is a entry from you. This is not a standard entry in the system. Okay. So I have released part numbers if you are working with them in theory. Now I have to go.
So the planning status block, what we have on the system will not allow to have release shipments, or what is the effect that it will?
Yes, exactly. It is not going to be taken into account for the MRP. Yes. So this is not going to be used for planning in the system. Yes. That would block the part so that it's been taken into account. This is in terms of planning, okay? This is the status in terms of planning for the part. So then it would have no role in the MRP, okay?
Okay.
So that one is the status construction, which is the same information, in fact, yes, which is also, okay, it's just been created, or it's blocked, or it's released, yes? Engineering. In this case, this wouldn't have an impact in the planning, yes? Because for that we have the planning status, okay? For the creation of the part by engineering. So the modification level, if you have a new modification level and the date of the technical change, you can put it here. Technification of, oh, sorry. We have tables here, that's why the system was continuing with the next page. So this technical modification of, so as I thought, this is not a standard field. As no explanation is there, I suppose you have here to put a date of the technical modification. Yes, but as I told you, this is not a standard field. Do you know if you are using this field? No. Okay. I guess this is customizing. Yes, this is not a field which we have in the standard. That's why I cannot tell you exactly what this is for. But I suppose this is just general information about the technical modification. Okay. After that, we have the procurement code here, and in procurement code we can set up how we are planning this part number. Yes. The different procurement codes that we have is, for example, requirement control, which is the one that you will be generally using when you are working with serious parts. Yes. That means you are going to plan what you need this part according to the requirements of your customer. Yes, this is managing. If you choose safety stock controls, then it's not going to take into account your requirements from customers, but it is going to be always checking the safety stock, and at the moment that the safety stock is short, then it would create a requirement, an immediate requirement. Yes, this is, for example, something that you can use for production materials like oil or some things that you use for the production, for example, that if you are planning the requirements of this or materials for the maintenance of the machines or something like that, you can work or plan these requirements with safety stock control. That means when I have 2 liters oil, then that's my safety stock. Then if I have less than 2, you have to give me an immediate requirement so that I order it again. Yeah. And the next one is the usage control. Usage control, it is going to do an average of the last month. There are formulas for this calculation. Yes, the system will look at the past. Yes, what you have been ordering or what has been the requirement, and according to that, he is going to do calculations, and then will tell you, okay, now you have to order this quantity. So, but mainly what you will be using here in the system is requirement control, because you are producing according to the requirement of your customer. Yes? Yes?
I have in this the procurement code. It changes. Right now we are using the A requirement control, but if we change it to another it affected the releases for our customer. I mean, we normally use the 0244 for requirement, but if you change it, they will affect all the part numbers.
No. This is going to affect your requirement. The orders of the customer that you are receiving in the system, it will be received and you will have exactly the same order, yes? This is not changing anything at all in the orders. This is just changing the way you are going to calculate your requirements, yes? And this is saying, okay, if you put A, then I will calculate according to what your customer is requiring to you. So I am going to have a look at the customer order, and then I will tell you what you need to buy for the production or to plan for the production. Yes? If you change it to safety stock, then he will see no matter what customer orders you have. Yes? If you set up in the part number, I have a safety stock of 10,000, and you have in your system 9,500, and he's going to tell you to order parts. He's going to give you an immediate requirement. But this is not affecting the customer orders, but the way of planning in the system in order to be able to keep up with these customer orders. Okay? I don't see any reason why you should change the planning code, you know, because normally you according to what your customer wants to receive. And only safety stock I would recommend to use, for example, like I said, for production material, like gloves for the production, or work shoes, or that kind of things, you know, that you always have in stock, yes, and if it's less than that, then you have to order new. Or this is not something with a constant requirement. Yes. it clear what this acquisition cost means?
Yeah.
Okay.
In the U.S., we have nothing set other than A. We've only paid for requirement for everything.
Yes, I think, and mostly in automotive industry, you produce according to your customer requirements and not other way. Yeah. I guess I'm almost sure that in Mexico it's the same. If someone can do you know? Okay. Okay. So next field that we have is our planning flag. Yes. This planning flag controls the automatic entry of orders from delivery plans. Yes? That means that when I see I will show you with help, yes, so that you see what's behind this one. So it is controlling the automatic entry of orders from delivery plans. In XSULIS is the name of our module in sales for automotive, yes? And the following selections are available, like blank, that means it's an automatic transfer. What does it mean? This means that when I get a customer order, this is going to be automatically transferred for the calculation of the requirements, yes? If you choose a manual entry, this means you get a customer order and first you have to confirm it in order that this is going to be taken into account for the MRP calculation. Yes, so the one that you are using here, I am almost 100% sure, is you are using the blank automatic transfer, because what you get from the customer is what you use automatically for planning the production and the requirements from the production. Yes. You will get further information about all this because, as you can see, you have some other options here when you get a training related to the production module, yes, which is, I don't know very well the production module. That's why I cannot tell you exactly each one what happens, but what I know of from the practice is that most work the automatic transfer because you are always planning according to what your customer is requiring you. Okay. After that, we have the batch type. I go question mark here to see the options that you have. This is about the batch tracing. Yes, here you can set up, is it a part number which needs no batch tracing, or is it a part number which needs the batch production requirement? The batch production and document required. This means every movement. If you know batch tracing, then the system is not going to ask you at all about the batch number. But if you say this part number is a batch production required, this means always when you do warehouse movements for this part number, this is going to ask you always for the batch number for the traceability. Okay. And the production and document required, this one is that it is going to be even, this batch is going to be even printed in the orders, for example. Okay? Is the same. This is going to be documents, the batch, if you want to have it printed. Okay? So I don't remember what was this part, batch type. I have to go back. I don't know. So in this case, you said here, okay, this is a batch production required. That means that anytime you do movements with this part number, the system is going to ask you for the batch number. Yes. Next one is the quality flag. Yes. In quality flag, we have following options. This means, is this a part number when you receive materials from your suppliers? Yes. Here you can set up, I want to do a quality checking of the material. Need no quality checking would be the first one. full quality checking, what happens when the material comes into your plant, you book a goods receipt, and then the material is blocked and goes to a mailbox, so the quality department checks the material, and then they can release it in this mailbox, and then you can move it to the warehouse where it belongs to. Yes. We also ship to stock. In the stock, the system assumes that the quality responsibility is by the supplier. So at the moment you book a goods receipt for this material, the system will release it as quality check. Yes, as you did the quality check and it was okay. That's what it means, this ship to stock. Okay, and the skipped lot you can define in the system. Okay, this material will be checked the quality only each 3 deliveries. That means delivery 1 will be checked, delivery 2 and 3 will not check, but the 4th will be checked. That means a random quality check, yes, which you can define in the system. Do you know if you work mostly with full quantity checking or no quality checking at all? Did you work with it?
No quality checking. No, we usually use no quality checking.
Okay.
But it depends on the division. They can go ahead with the quality check, and then there's a field in XPPS where they would release it.
Yes, but in order to be able to release it, you have to work with full quality, not quantity, full quality checking. Yeah. So that's the mailbox, and the quality department now is in charge. Okay.
In quality or in the Coral Springs division in the USA, they're set for no quality check.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't have it in.
Okay, in this case you have full quality checking. Yes, it's not quantity, it's quality, full quality checking. Okay, so now we continue. This is a number that you have for the part number. I don't know if you have this information or not. This is just information that you can type in here. So the next one is the planner. Yes, behind this field we have a code table, which is the code table number 11, where you have set up all the different, well, as you can see in this code table, you have both, yes, the person in charge and the planner. You can set them up here. And what is the difference between a planner and a person in charge? A planner is the person who is responsible for quantities and dates. Yes, that means the person who says, I need this material, this quantity for this date. Okay, and the person in charge is the one who is responsible for maintaining the master data in the system. That means, for example, in the case of production, is responsible for the routings in production, or in case of purchasing, is, for example, responsible for the contracts in the system. Okay, that's the difference. And the planner is also used to work with mailboxes. Yes, as you know, for the planning of materials or the planning of the production, you have mailboxes where you can do the planning. And in this mailbox, you can work with the planner. You can select, for example, the plan that you put here in the number. When you put in the case of the production mailbox, and the planner is going to do the production planning, he will get displayed only his part numbers. That means part numbers where he is set up as the planner, okay? So it is also important, this planner, because it is controlling the mailboxes, okay? The difference between planner and person in charge.
One question, please. Yes, one question. And when can we set up new planners? If we get one new member on the team and we want to...
Yes. Yes. I don't know. So first I have a question for Ryan. Who is doing the administration of the system? Is there an administrator in Mexico? Is it only in the U.S. or do you want to train someone to be able to do this, or how is this organized?
Somebody would send me an email and ask to
Yes.
set up a new planner, and I can do that real quickly.
Okay. Because this is something very easy. The only thing is that you have to know where and you have to have the authorization, yes? As I showed you here, you saw that this is person in charge is the code table 11, yes? So then I would go to my code table. Number 1, code table. And then I type in the code table 11, and there you have, we have the person in charge and planner, with what I selected, and then I am here in this, then with F6 I can add a new one, or I can, according to authorizations, for example, in my case, I don't have the authorization to add a new one, or you can copy one existing with 3, which will have the authorization, okay? But that would be the thing that you would have to discuss internally if you will be doing this, or if it's going to continue like that Brian is going to be adding it for you. Okay? Any questions? Okay. So now let's continue with our parts master, yes. As I told you, this is the difference between the planner and the person in charge, yes. Then here we can set up who is responsible for the bills of materials, yes. In this case, here you can set up, it could be the design or the production control. In your case, it's the design, the one who is responsible for the bill of materials. Then the safety stock, you can set it up here. Yes, these are very sensible information in the parts master, because this is information which is going to be taken into account in the MRP. Yes? So if you put a safety stock, the system is going to take it into account, and if safety stock is short, then he's going to give you requirements more than what is the requirement of the customer, yes. The same as the lot size, yes. The lot size, here you can say, okay, this part number has a lot size of 100 parts, yes. And when the customer, for example, orders 150, the system will do requirements for 200, yes, because you are working with lot sizes, and this could make bigger your requirements, yes. So you have to be careful working with this kind of information. We also have here a lot size factor, yes. So the lot size factor.
To confirm, the safety stock can be, is it in pieces or in percent, in average, or?
This depending on your measurement unit quantity, yes? If the part number is in pieces, then here would be in pieces. If you have kilos here, then it will be kilos here, yes? Okay?
I'm making a comment in Spanish. Give me just 2 seconds.
Okay. Be careful because I can understand you. I am from Mexico.
Oh, no, fine. I'm trying to explain what the safety stock is. Como el 15% de la línea, por ejemplo, si lo consideran esas, y ahí automáticamente ya lo va a ver. Ya esta no lo va a tener que considerar, o sea, ya no va a tener Anthony más sus tú ya nada más ayudas ciertas.
Y una cosa también puede ser si siempre quieres mantener ciertos del inventario. Por ejemplo, ahí este es de las 2 semanas. Si te quieres tener semanas, te puede poner calcular lo que tú le pusiste y te va a pedir.
A ver, es uno de los parámetros que está pidiendo.
Sí, digo, vamos a empezar a meterle a ver cómo lo refleja.
Tienen que tener mucho cuidado con el safety stock porque les puede inflar los inventarios, ¿ok?
Sí, sí. Ese es uno de los requerimientos que nos está pidiendo nuestro cliente. Actualmente en el sistema no tenemos nada. Entonces, lo que se está viendo es que los customers hagan un análisis cada 2 semanas de cuánto tienen que mantener el inventario.
Okay, so this is clear. Just take into account this is a very sensible information for the MRP, yes, because the MRP is always going to calculate taking into account this safety stock if you put safety stock in the system, okay? This lot size factor, yes. Here you can put a part-specific percentage factor from which the system should switch to the next lot quantity during material requirements planning, yes? That's what I was telling you. For example, if the system, if the lot size is 100 and the customer is ordering 150, what should the system require to you? 100 or 200? Yes, that's what you can set up here. Yes, so this information, so how you can put this here with Alt F1, then you can see even an example that you can review, and then you could put this lot size here. But this is also an information which is this works together with MRP, yes, and you will see deeply this field and how this is going to be reflected in the system when you talk about MRP topic, which will be one of the topics of the trainings future. Okay?
So in this case, in this parameter, we're going to review it more in detail in another session, or can we clarify one by one?
Yes. It is planned that you also have trainings regarding production planning and production and MRP, yes, which is contained in the last part of trainings. Yes, Brian, this is a topic which will be talked about in round 4, according to the information you sent to Christy. Okay? And then talk deeply about all this information, yes, because these are all parameters which are very important for the MRP, but not only what you put here in these fields, but also what you set up in your MRP, yes, which is together working in order to make accurate requirements. Okay?
Okay.
So, did you have another question?
No, it was only that.
Okay, so let's continue with the terminated parts. Yes, in terminated parts, we have 4-wheel. Okay, you have no expiring parts. You have loading hood. You have limited release. Okay, this code table 20. You can also edit information in this code table, and this is a flag used as a warning for parts requiring any special handling in the planning process. Yes, and the information or this information that you can see in this code table, for example, no expiring part or limited release, this is information which will be displayed in all planning screens. Yes, and if you put here a part as an expiring part, then the system will not generate shop orders automatically if you work with automatical shop orders. Okay. The important thing is that you know this code table 20. You can put information here. For example, be careful, project ends in 2015 or something like that, yes? But anyway, this information will be displayed in all planning screens, and it's also going to avoid that automatically shop orders are generated, okay? Do you know if you work with automatically shop orders? Do you issue the shop orders manually?
Yes.
So then it would be not that serious in case you would use this because you are not generating automatically shop orders. But anyway, as I told you, this is an information that you can get displayed in all planning screens. Okay. So this is like this no experiment part. They have a scrap factor. Yes, this is also a very sensible information because here you can set up if you have a scrap and what percentage of the scrap you have for this part number. There are some part numbers which have a factor always, no matter what, we always have a 4% scrap, and then this is going to be taken into account by the MRP so that we always get requirements 4% more than what we need, because this scrap factor is taken into account, okay?
Okay.
So now next overhead costs. Yes, here we have the information. This is in the cost materials, which are materials that are handled like bulk goods. Yes, which is something like screws or nuts, as you can see here. Yes, which are part numbers that they have big quantities of these ones, and you cannot count it. That's why it's like a bulk goods. Yes, and then in this case, they're drawn for production in kit form. Yes, they are booked on indirect costs, but for costing purposes, these materials are in the bill of materials. They are forwarded in the shop order, but they are going to be printed, for example, in the withdrawn list for the production. Yes, it's not going to be mentioned there that you need 1 or 2 screws or whatever. Yes, they are taken into account for costs purposes, but not being printed or that in the production. Okay. The next one is the key-out warehouse. I see you do have a warehouse here. This warehouse is the warehouse where the materials will be booked out if you work with retrograde discounts of material. Yes, that means when you report a shop order, how many pieces you created, and then the system will automatically do the retrograde bookings, yes, which is taking the material out of the warehouse that you use to produce this part number. Yes? And here you set up what is the warehouse where this material will be discounted from. Yes? So we have the warehouse. Sorry, you have a question?
That warehouse, yes.
Okay.
That warehouse is one going to be deducted when we do the backflush or the
Exactly. Exactly.
when,
Yes.
when we repack, because if we are supposed to deduct or do the backflush in another location, which is FC and not CW. We're using CW for sale of repacking material, like if we have a standard pack and then we need to move it and just ship 5 years to service parts. So I get like confused in that.
can see here, this is working with the retrograde function, yes, which is when you report the OK quantities of a finished part, then this is going to do the retrograde transactions. That means the booking out of the warehouse of the components that were used for this part number. Yes, the part numbers which are listed in the bill of materials. Yes. But this part of this is the information for the field. Yes, I don't know how you work in production. Yes, I don't know how this was set up in your system, and you have to discuss this then when you do the production sessions with the production consultant. Yes. So yeah, the information that you have here, that's what the field is for. But I don't know. There are different ways of working in production. Yes, as you have heard, like for example with automatic shop orders and those kind of things, that according to the way you're working with, then the parameters are different or have different impact. Okay. So then is the warehouse number, yes, which is the general warehouse that is assigned to this part number. Then you have the standard location type, where you can set up the location where normally this part number is put into, yeah. And also you have to set up the bin in which this part number is okay. I don't know what kind of warehouses you work with. Yes, with that you might have standard location types. Let's see the code table behind it. For example, have this PP1, PP2. Do you use them?
I don't think so, no.
Okay, because you could set up, okay, this part number goes normally in this location type, yes? And into the location type, you also have to set up, okay, into the location type, these kind of containers are allowed to be stocked into, okay? So.
I just have a question.
Yes.
Can you go back one page? The warehouse number, here it is CC.
Yes.
If this was like a purchased part, and we need this part in, when we need the part in, it will automatically go to the CC warehouse?
This is depending on the setup of the system, yes, because we have set up in the system where you can say, okay, you have to take into account the warehouse of the parts master, or you can take into account the warehouse which is set up in the purchasing, or you can take into account the warehouse set up per user. Yes, we would have to have a look at the parameters in purchasing, how it is set up to do the goods receipt. Yes, I will write it down. If you want, I can have a look at this for you. Yes, and then I can tell you which warehouse it is taking or how you set up your system for the goods receipt. Yes.
We can get on that later, a different screen. I don't think we really use that then, I guess.
That's what I mean. I can have a look at this afterwards, and then I can tell you how it is set up. Okay? But if it is set up the warehouse of the parts master, then this would be the warehouse that you will be booking into the goods receipt. Okay?
Okay.
The next one is the partial issues possible. For example, in the case you are working with containers, warehouses, or with dynamic warehouses, then you can set up here if you allowed partial issues or not. Okay, in this case you have no. I don't. What kind of warehouses you have? Do you have container warehouses, or what kind of warehouse you work with, or conventional warehouse? Do you not?
Both. We use both.
You use both. Okay. Okay. We can see that afterwards when we go into processes. We will realize it, yes? So we have the lead time, yes? We have lead time, which is defining, yes? You have lead time and in a part number, and this is going to define the days between the end date and the start date, yes? The system moves the gross requirement date forward by the specified number of days and transfers the calculated start date as the end date for the subordinated level. That means this is going to manage when I need to have this material in order to be able to fulfill this requirement. And it goes back with each component or sub part that you need for your end product. Yes, it means if you have an end product, but in the middle you also produce a product which is going to be part afterwards of the and so on, and the purchasing part as well. This is what this is going to be into account. The lead time that you put here is the lead time you need in order for your material to be able to fulfill with your requirement. Yes, as you can see, we also have an internal lead time. In this case, the internal lead time is used, for example, you know that you receive your component on Wednesday, but you know you need also 1 day for the quality check and for moving into the warehouse and so on, or because of internal whatever you do, yes, then you can put here an internal lead time, and this is going to also be taken into account, yes? Or you need 1 internal day for, I don't know, release, whatever. That's what you put in this internal lead time, yes? So the lead time is the general lead time for getting materials, and the internal one is the time that you need the preparation until the part number is ready for being used in the production. Okay? Then the price unit, yes, which you can say here, okay, my price is per piece or per 100 pieces in this case, and so on. So we have these phantom structures. Yes. What is phantom structure? This is also something related to production. In this, you work with automatic shop orders. What have to do with this is that you have an end part number, but within that you also have other part numbers that you also produce in order to be used for the final part number. And then as you work with automatic shop orders, then you need to add into the system these phantom structures, which are parts that you need for the end production, but which are not going to be stocked in warehouses, yes? But the system will know, okay, for this end part number, I needed this and this and this, and this is going to the automatic shop orders, and it's also going to do the booking out of the warehouses when the parts are reported in the system, yes? But this is mainly so these part numbers that you also need for the end production, but which are not per se as a stock into the system as a part number, but as components only. Yes, and that's what you use for these phantom structures. But as I told you, when you go with a production training, then you might get further information about this. I don't know, do you work with phantom structures? Is it telling you something, this details, or not at all?
I've seen it.
Okay, I think
I was trained 10 years ago and have never used it.
Yes, okay. So, but that's just for you to know what this is about. Yes, if you want more detail or you think you would like to know more about it, then you can talk to this with my colleague who is going to be doing the trainings for production. Okay, so we have the packaging unit number, base quantity. This is a little bit confusing in English. In this field, specify the contents of a packaging unit in relation to the base measurement unit of the part. So here you have a weight for the sorry. You put I guess I need to see the name in German that I know exactly what this means. Or do you understand the version here? Yes, but anyway, I will write it down. Yes, I want to see it in German because it's telling me a lot in English. So that's exactly what this is, yeah? Okay, I have written this down. Use it at the moment, but I will let you know what this is for, yes? So the next one is the frozen zone. The frozen zone, I don't know if you are familiar with this word, but this is a period of time which cannot be touched by the requirements, yes? So this, in the case of purchasing, for example, my frozen zone is 5 days. That means these 5 days I cannot touch the requirement of the order to the supplier, yes? And this frozen zone you work with, for example, in purchasing, when you work with automatic delivery schedules, yes? Automatic delivery schedules is you have a requirement from the customer, the MRP runs, and the MRP will issue the orders. It means he's going to make a proposal of the required material, is going to issue an order, and is going to send it automatically via EDI, for example. Yes, you don't have to check anything at all. You just can set up, okay, I would like to have a look at the mailbox of the orders that left the system so that you have a feeling of what has been ordered, but you don't need to do anything at all in the purchasing if you are working with this automatic delivery schedule. And only in this case, when you work with automatic delivery schedules, you can set up a frozen zone for the part numbers. So when you have the profit center for SAP, I will over the code tables, which are, well, I think this is also customizing for you. This is not a standard. I think you changed the name of the code table because it's a 46, but these are accounts, yes, that you use, that you add here to the part number, the same as the stock account. It's also an account that you have also in a code table 47, okay? For accounting. Then you have the standard price. Here you could add a price to this. And you have number of spare parts, yes. So you could put you can only put information if you have a spare part number for this part number. You could put it here. This is only information, yes. It's not setting up anything in the system. Okay. So these are the fields that we have in our parts master. This matter, sorry, planning parts master. If you have a question, as I told you, it is useful. Sorry, what is going on here? It is very useful always that you know this Alt F1 that you can use as a help in order to be able to know what this is for. Yes. So we also have here this function keys. For example, the F20 created. F20 would be Shift F8, and you can see when and who created this part number, and the last time, and who was the last one who changed this part number. Yes? So this is information that you can display with F20. Shift 8, okay?
RCP.
Anything?
No.
Okay, then we have, as you can see here, F24. This is if would help, then I would see more function keys, yes, which is, for example, the F1 to return, the F2 for additional text, yes. That means here I could add an additional text to the part number. This is used, for example, in some cases where you want to have this text transfer in the purchasing, for example. Then you could set up the system so that what you put here is shown, for example, in your contract in purchasing. Yes, that's what you put here. Then we also have the info tool. I think you might know this function. Do you know this one? Yes, for sure. Don't you? Are you info tool? Okay. Info tool. Let me see if we can do it here. For calculation, no, it here. Okay, call information, any information for this part. I want to see the stock on hand, or I want to see the bill of materials or the routings and so on. Yes, I think you might have worked already with this one. This is a very important tool that you can use in the system in most screens to get further information. Okay, if I shift F12 again, we have the F8. Makes display, so you would see the that you have in your mailbox which have not been worked. So what is this mailbox? I don't think you have you work with this one. I will go.
No, we don't.
Yes, this mailbox shift F1. You could send a message to another part master. For example, if you're working in the general parts master, you create a new part number and you want purchasing to add some information for this part number, then you set up the system that you want this part number to go to the mailbox of purchasing so that they know that you create this part number and they have to set up their information in the parts master. That's what this mailbox is about, yes? So, but what I can see, you don't use it. Mailbox work with the parts master disposition, yes, but that's functionality that we also have in the system, yes? Created the F8 to the F13, yes? In the F8, you see if you've got messages from any other parts master, and here you could send information or message to the other parts master, okay? The F11, which the container. Here you can add at the parts master level the packaging you are working with for this part number. For example, in this case, you have assigned an internal packaging. Yes, in this screen, you can create the packaging with F6, and here you can say, okay, this is a customer packaging, this is a supplier packaging, an internal or an external packaging. Yes. For example, you could set up here, okay, this part number is being packaged in carton boxes, 100 pieces per carton box, and they are all in a pallet. I have 110 boxes in one pallet, and so on. And you can set up this packaging information here in the parts master, or you can also set it up in the sales. In the tool as well, yeah? So if I can here, you work with internal. For example, Mercedes green container, you set it as an internal one, okay? But you can here, or you also have another possibility, which I will show you in the next training. No? Okay, plus again, and then we are back to create it, okay? So those are all the key functions that you have here available. I think I mentioned all of them, yes. And that's what they are for. So as you know, when you want to create a new part number, you hit key function F6, create a new part number here. So that's why it's like this.
We create the part number on the German master
Ah, okay.
and then distribute it to which, plant needs it.
Okay, creating part. Okay.
Right.
So the only important thing is that, for example, when you get a new part number from Germany, that you check all the information because they don't know all the information. You have to put your information, and the most important thing is when you're done with the part number, as you can see, just with enter, 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 then it is going to be updated. Yes. So now, if I go into the part number and I hit Shift 8, you will see, oh, sorry, it's up here, Shift 8. So now you can see that the last who changed this part number is me. Yes, you don't have any problem with this part number, otherwise you will say, oh, the last one who changed this was Redman. Okay, didn't change anything. Just for you to know what happens when you press enter, 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 enter. So even though you didn't change anything at all, this is going to be updated in the parts master, and you will be the one who changed it the last time. Okay? So you just want to display some information. You either go through the info tool, or you go into the part number, but you go back with F1. Yes, and so nothing will happen. But if you continue to enter, 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 then it's like if you had changed something in the part number. Okay? So now you know. Now I would like to just to show you this overview for master data in sales. Yes, which is the master data that we use for sales. We use part number. The part type is important. Yes, for sales, normally part number that we use is the part type 1 because they are in-house production parts. The weight is also important because this is going to be used, for example, for calculating the net and the gross weight of the part numbers in order to be able to print in the delivery document. If working with the batch, yes, this is also an important master data for sales. And well, that would be the next sessions. Yes, when we go deep into other master data. Yes. Now, what I would like to do, I guess you are all sales users. Yes, you also work with customers and you do the deliveries and that kind of thing. Yes. Okay, I just want, I don't know, Ryan, if you work in sales with the parts master sales, because as you can see, if I go to the module sales, I can see that I have a parts master also for sales. Yes, so let's have a look at this, what you have in your parts master sales. So so, as you can see, your parts master for sales is almost nothing. Yes? But you have a spare code. This is, sorry?
Okay. Para las opciones para entrar al XPPS son al revés las de nosotros, ¿no? ¿Cuál pusiste usted?
¿Qué menú tienen ustedes? En la parte superior ves tu menú.
Nosotros tenemos Next. Move Next.
Okay. So I can change here to your menu, and then let's see where you have it. Move Next.
Move yes. Move
yo creo que move
MoveMX, this one?
No, es MoveMX.
Sorry? Yes.
Yes, this one. No, no.
Okay. No?
No.
Where you have the number one. Ahí donde puso el uno y el Ahí.
De mover.
Sí.
Es lo único que tienes.
Mover.
Yo tengo otro.
Es lo otro.
Tengo.
That's why I went with the general one, because I know you have different user menus, yes? So that's why. But let's go to the Mubea Mex, for example, yes? So it's different. So sorry?
Es que tenemos diferentes, pero vamos a generar.
Exactamente, sí. Yes, it would be very helpful. It would be helpful, yes, Brian, that you tell me in what menu we should work, because if I work with the general one, then they will be a little bit lost. Yes, but I'm not sure if they are all having the same menu, or so we have to discuss this. Yes, where am I going to be moving in the menu so that they know where we are? Yes. In this case, I go to the 45, yes, which is the standard menu for XPS, and then if I go to the number 6, then I have the Parts Master for Sales. I don't know if you have seen it before. Here you have only 5 fields. Yes, as you can see, you have a spare part code. You can type in here if it is a spare part or not. Yes. And this is just informative, yes, this is all information. Then this is the living scale call code LAB-FAB. What is LAB? LAB is the German abbreviation for delivery schedule, and FAB is the German abbreviation for call-off. Is it clear for everybody, the difference between a delivery schedule and a call-off?
Yeah,
Yes?
it's basically the firm orders and forecast orders.
Exactly, okay. And what is this field? This field is going to set up, if we put a number 1, we are telling the system, please take into account the cost for the MRP running, yes? And then the system would not have a look at the delivery schedule, but at the call-off, yes? Until the last call-off plus 1 day, and then if you have any more call-offs, then he will take into account the delivery schedules. But the priority would be the okay. If you just leave it like this, yes, if it's empty, then the MRP will be having a look at the delivery schedule, which is the forecast. Okay. What this field is for. And we have the VAT ID number. I was trying to find out what you use this one for, but only I don't understand, because this is calling something completely different, as you can see. So I think you don't use it exactly, no, because it makes no sense here, yes? So that would be, and then you have the sales price unit, which you can put here if it's 1 piece per 1 piece per 10 pieces and so on. Because why is this field also here? Because it could be that the sales is going to know better this information than the person who is creating the part numbers, yes? And then you can also put here a sales price. Informative, yes, it is not going to be changed, yes, it's only manually entered, yes. So this is customizing, yes. This Part Master for Sales was changed by Mubea, and someone decided we just want these 5 fields to be displayed in the Sales Parts Master, yes. So not a lot of information. Let's see if we go here into the sales, if it's something different. No, same, okay? So you just have these 5 fields, but I don't even know if you use it. Do you work with this one? Did you know about this field for the call-offs and the delivery schedule?
Yeah, that because it is very confusing and tricky. Usually users will call me and say something is acting strange with the, I'll check this field, but I rarely go into it. We usually use the default and leave this.
Of course, and that's it. You are the best ones who can decide is it better to take into account the call-offs or the delivery schedules, but mostly use delivery schedules forecast. Yes, only in some individual cases you decide, okay, in this case we will take into account the call-offs, but normally you don't do it. Normally you take into account from MRP the forecast, which is the delivery schedule. Yes, maybe that's why also that you don't know, you are not aware about this field. Okay?
Right.
So,
can we go back? Can we go to that menu where you were explaining the parameter which says lab?
Sorry, I don't understand.
Podemos ver el menú anterior o la pantalla anterior en ventas.
Ventas, ok. Master ventas. ¿Esa?
Pues, este parámetro que dice lab, que dice lab y SB.
El lab es la abreviación alemana para Delivery Schedule. Lab es la abreviación alemana para call-off. Este es Lisa Abrufe y Fine Abrufe. Yeah. Esto es en alemán, sí, pero el lab siempre va a ser el Delivery Schedule, el FAB va a ser el call-off. ¿Ok? Y este campo lo que hace es, si yo pongo un 1 aquí, le estoy diciendo al sistema, cuando corra el MRP, tome en cuenta los requerimientos del call-off, no delivery schedule. Si está vacío, cuando corre el MRP, los requerimientos que ve del cliente son los del delivery schedule, o sea, el forecast, ¿sí? Y normalmente
indica ya sea para la planeación el 830 o el 862.
No, yo lo que te recomiendo es que tomes el forecast, que es el delivery schedule, que no me lo sé con los números. ¿Qué número es el delivery schedule? ¿El 830?
El 830. Ajá.
El 830. El delivery schedule, ¿ok? El forecast. Pero eso no tiene nada que ver cuando tú recibes tus órdenes, ¿sí? So change to English again. This is going to have any impact when you receive your order A30 or A67 or what was it? That's something separately. Yes, this field is going to set up in the system. When you calculate the requirements, you take into account the requirements of the A30, or you take into account the requirements of the 860. Yes? It's clear? But anyway, you receive your delivery schedule and you receive your call-off, yes, because it's information that you need in your system to be able to deliver. Yes, but here in this case, we are talking just about planning, okay, in the system for the requirements. So,
I checked a couple of them. What happens if that was 0? No.
Now here you have only nothing or 1, okay? Right. If you have 0 or no or 1, okay? So then it's not going to take account. If you put 1, it will take into account the FAB. That means the call-off. If you do like this, or so, it will take into account the delivery schedule as it's normal. Normally, the system is set up to plan the parts by requirement, as we said in the planning flag. Yes, as I told you before, in field we set up there in the system that we have to take into account what the customer is ordering. Yes. And not only what the customer orders is he is sending a delivery schedule, and this is what the system is going to take into account for the calculation of the requirements. Yes. Or say something different, then he will do it like that. If I set up here, in this specific case, I want the system to take into account the call-off and not the delivery schedule, let's set it up here. So, is there something else that you would like to know about the Parts Master that I have mentioned, or something that you have asked yourself always?
No.
Okay. So, I don't know, Brian, if you would like to add something?
I'm curious, Michelle, do you have a single person that creates part numbers in Germany, or do you have multiple people do the numbers? Brandon, Harwood. Oh.
We don't create any part numbers, and we don't have somebody.
Yeah, Brandon. I just told me Brandon doesn't. That's fine. Never mind. I don't know.
So you are not creating part numbers, but it's important that you know, and now you have a better idea of what is being setting up in each different field. Yeah, as I told you, this is a very useful help with the Alt F1 that you display this information if you don't know what this field is for. Okay.
Okay.
I would say. For we are done. If you don't have any other questions, I don't know if you have any something that you would like to say. Was it okay the way it was presented? Do you have any suggestions how you would like to see it next time, or was it okay for you today?
We have to know, where do you get the information? I mean, you hit
F1, exactamente. Alt F1. Te posicionas en el cursor, en el campo en el que quieres la información, le presionas Alt F1 y ahí ves la información sobre este campo. Por cierto, aquí la traducción es muy mala porque last dispatch note date, this translation is not good. This is not dispatch note date, but call off. Yes? So the translation is not very good. So any suggestions or something you would like to see me to do different? Was it okay for you today? Was it understandable?
What I'd like to do, Edith, is I'll speak with Michelle today or tomorrow, kind of see what they can speak with themselves and see what, you know, if it's okay or if there's any changes, and then get back with you. Is our next meeting scheduled then for Tuesday, correct?
Yes, I think so. I have to have a look at this, but I think it's Tuesday, yes.
And Hammer Master and Michelle, that'll be good for anybody in your plants that are the customer service.
No, sorry, it's for next Friday. Friday, the 6th. Friday 6th, and but on Monday I would confirm to you if I will be able on Tuesday. Yes, that was still open because other customer visit, and I'm not sure if I will do it.
Let me know when.
Let you know on Monday. Okay, Monday when you come to your office, you will know if you are training on Tuesday. Okay.
Okay, I already know.
Yes, otherwise the next one would be until next Friday. And we will have 3 hours, yes?
Okay.
So, yes?
Can you call on the phone? Okay, I'll give
Right now? Yes, do my mobile number?
I think in your, signature of your email.
Yes, exactly. You can call me there, of course.
I'll give you minutes.
So thank you very much, everybody, for your attention, and until next time.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Bye.